Hello, rockers. Good night. This is Iván Flores from Maestros del Rock, and tonight we have a very special guest, Ashton Nyte, vocalist from the band Awakening, and said by himself a compulsive songwriter. Ashton, good night. How are you?
Hi, good evening. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Better than I deserve. It's a real pleasure to have you here with us tonight and to hear all about your latest album, The Awakening. One of the things that we really enjoy about your videos was your signature black and white visual style that has become in your latest videos. What does it represent for you personally?
Well, I think, with so many things, like with music, there are artists that inspired me to start singing and to start creating. And then similarly, there are directors and visual artists that have an impact on me. And I think that most specifically Ingmar Bergman, I'm a big fan of his work. I like not only the fact that it's black and white, but it's minimalist. I like that he's able to tell stories with very few cast members, very, you could say, low budget in that term, in that there's not a bunch of things to distract you from the core message. And I try to distill some of that and bring some of that into my work. I'm also a fan of David Lynch and Jim Jarmusch, and both of those directors have worked in black and white as well. And I tend to gravitate towards that medium. I think it's also, you focus more on the subject matter with less going on, and it's less going on visually, but less going on color-wise as well. So it's just, yeah, it's an aesthetic I've been fond of for most of my life. And I think as I've gotten more into creating video, I've just really gravitated towards that style of that aesthetic in my storytelling.
Cool, and that was something that really caught our attention in your videos.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about Haunting. I know it marks a return to the Awakening roots. What inspired you to write this song?
Haunting was actually a song that has been lurking around in the background for many years. It never had lyrics, though. I'd written the music for it probably about 10, maybe 12 years ago. And every now and then I'd revisit it, and it just wasn't quite ready to be born. Sometimes songs just let you know that they're not quite ready to meet the world. And as I was finishing off the self-titled album, it was one of the last songs I added. I generally find that when I really get into creating an album, I will start, whatever the starting point is, and then I write and I write and I write, like you said, compulsive songwriter. So I end up with usually about 30, maybe 40 songs for every album. And towards the end, the vision really sort of comes together. I feel like everything comes into focus, and you stop repeating yourself, and you start just honing in on whatever it is that you're trying to say and create. And honestly, Haunting is almost on some levels, it's one of the more light-hearted songs, because if you take it quite literally, then it's almost like a sort of gothic B movie, sort of winking at the camera kind of thing. But essentially, the subject matter is still someone who is being haunted by someone. It's ultimately it's a love song, it's a relationship song, and I think we can all relate to that feeling, especially when you're no longer with someone, whether you've just broken up or whether someone has actually died. You are haunted by their memory in so many instances, and I love that idea. And it's it was lovely to see the song finally come to life after all these years. And I think that in and of itself is indicative of its title. The song had been haunting me for years. So that title just, when I sang those words, just as I was just coming up with ideas, I was singing over the music, I came up with that. I love the feeling of you haunting me. And it's like seeking out being haunted. It's not being frightened by it, or it's haunting in the most positive sense, you could say.
Yes, actually, I noticed that some of your songs are more like a kind of poem. I feel like that, accompanied by some music, something like The Doors. In the end, so I had some that kind of feeling about your songs, and very interesting about how this song is not only haunting your heart but also to yourself. No? It was an
Absolutely.
incredible experience to hear the song.
Oh, thank you.
Also, I think you mentioned a little about this, but the haunting video has a distinct horror movie vibe.
Yeah.
What were some of your cinematic influences? And I think more important, what were you aiming to express to the audience?
Well, that one, as I said, in that particular video, it's almost like a kind of wink at the camera. It's almost like a breaking the fourth wall kind of moment where I'm letting you in on the fact that we're having a bit of fun with this kind of gothic horror setup. You know, again, it's a lot of my performance I offset because my music is actually very serious, and I find ways of I think elevating the mood. You know, if you see us in concert, I'm actually quite lighthearted between songs and things. It's almost to keep everybody engaged and involved in what it is, because it's ultimately theater. And I think that Haunting, by being very cinematic and giving it a almost B horror movie kind of treatment, it just pushes it further into a theatrical space, which is where I am honestly most comfortable. I seek that out probably in everyday life. I see things through a theatrical lens, you could say. And a video like that, I think, captures that element.
Yes, actually, while doing our little research about your career, I discovered that one of your heroes is David Bowie, and you described that theatrical of David Bowie was one of your influences, and I think that connects very well with this video.
Absolutely, it's I've always told people, you know, my very first exposure to the very first impact that was made on me was Elvis Presley. When I was 5 years old, I saw a rerun of an old Elvis TV show, and he made me want to sing. And then a few years later, I heard David Bowie, and he made me want to be an artist. And I think that's the difference. You know, they're both very important figures in my life. But throughout my life, I've taken a lot of inspiration from Bowie and his ability to redefine himself and to recreate and reinvent and just remain inspired and continue to inspire others. And I think that's a wonderful trait, and hopefully a little bit of that rubs off on me.
Yes, actually, for the audience, Ashton Nyte has made some covers. For example, he made a very interesting cover of the Sound of the Silence,
Oh yeah,
and also one of Heroes that I really enjoyed
thank you.
hearing. And I think you made some adjustments to the original song, but it was very cool to me to hear that song in a different composition form to say something. Okay. Also, we know that you are in your 2025 international tour includes a visit to Mexico. What
Yes.
does it mean to you to connect with Mexican and Latin American fans? And also, if possible, do you already have any dates confirmed?
Well, yes, absolutely. What it means to me, it's something of a dream come true, really. It's been many years that I've been trying to get the band to Mexico, and with this latest album, we just really started pushing hard to truly play internationally and get the band all over the world as best as we could. And we've been very fortunate in that the dates include multiple shows in Germany, the Netherlands, France, UK, USA, Canada. Where else? We played a festival in Poland, which was wonderful. I think I've included everything. And then, of course, we were able to confirm Mexico City. So we will be at Bizarro Cafe in Mexico City on 26th of September. And that will be our very first time in Mexico. So hopefully not the last time. Hopefully it'll be the first of many shows. But it has been, you know, we've had wonderful support from Mexico for many years, and we have, you know, it's wonderful these days with Spotify and YouTube and all the rest. You can actually see where your listeners and your followers are, and it's just been incredible to see the support we've always had from Mexico, and particularly Mexico City. I think that's the biggest support we have, numbers wise anyway. So it seems like a good place to start, and yeah, I can't wait. It's just what is it? It's not even 2 months away now. I think it's about a month and a half, and we'll be there.
Okay, that's good. Also, we noticed that you've collaborated with some legendary artists, including members of The Cure and Peter Murphy. What did you take away from those experiences?
I think all of those. Firstly, it's my 19-year-old self is doing cartwheels. You know, when you're in a situation like that, when you're working with your heroes, essentially, those are just some of the people I've been fortunate to have worked with, or I've toured, you know, with The Mission and with Wayne Hussey, and he was such a big influence on me, both as The Mission and, of course, with his work with the Sisters of Mercy. You know, so it's really been quite incredible to collaborate with people from these kind of legendary bands over the years, and ultimately, I think all of it makes you just want to do your job better. You know, I think when you know you're singing on a song that features people from these bands, you know, you just try that much harder. And I think collaborating has brought out a different element in my vocal performance, and that's something that I could then take back into my own work, because again, with the kinds of collaborations I was doing, I wasn't writing the songs. I was writing the lyrics. I wasn't writing the music. So it just puts your focus. I'm so used to creating everything from the ground up that to come in kind of just as the singer, so to speak, you know, you just focus that much more on your singing and on the lyrics and all that. So I think each one of those experiences, you not only are you inspired and excited to be doing it, but you take a little bit away, and it comes back into what you do. And that's the wonderful thing about art, you know, it just keeps evolving.
And all the time you are evolving. I think you are also very fortunate, because few people have the chance to work with their heroes. So
Absolutely.
it's very cool that you have worked with them. Yeah. Also, for all your fans out there, where can they follow the latest updates about the band? Things like social networks.
Yes, we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. So it's The Awakening Official. So Facebook and Instagram, it's The Awakening Official. And I'm Ashton Nyte. I'm on Facebook and Instagram too, just as Ashton Nyte, if they really want to get involved. And our official website is just theawakening.com, and that's easy to remember. And on there, we've got all the tour dates, and you can buy tickets and whatever else. And yes, we're on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music and all the things, you know. So yeah, please come and say hello. Yes.
Yes, actually, I listened to your music in YouTube, and I got really engaged with your music.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we are also we're near to the end of this interview. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I think just that, you know, The Awakening has been around for a few years, and it's never lost on me what a privilege it is to do this. You know, the fact that people continue to support the songs I write and the songs I sing, the stories I'm sharing. It really means so much to me. It is, you know, you can use these expressions like the gift that keeps giving and things like that, but it really is. It's a wonderful relationship that I've had with people who support my work and are ultimately support me and enable me to do this. So I just want to say thank you. That's my parting thought, is just thank you. Thank you for having me, speaking to me this evening. And I hope to see you at the show, and look forward to speaking to you again.
count on that. Ashton, thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you in Mexico very soon. And this was your friend Iván Flores, and this was Maestros del Rock. Thank you, Ashton.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye-bye.
Something I can never hold. So rise as the shadows stain the wall. I hear you down the hall. I know this feeling, you're haunting me again. Haunting.